for at least, I hope most of you will stay with the course. That we don't get to know that officially next week, but anyway. Some of you I've met before, last year, but many of you I haven't, so welcome to all of you. This is a very different course. Very, very different. You know, it's not one of the classical courses in any MBA course. And if you will, it's kind of specially customized. I don't think something exactly like it exists anywhere else. There are courses on social entrepreneurship and other things, but you see the course title, Entrepreneurship in NGOs, that's quite unique. And this course has been running for, I've lost count, maybe a decade and a half, something like that, close to that, something between at least 12 years, I would say, maybe more. I've lost count, so I can't tell you. It was originally floated as an MDP, a Management Development Program, in the year 2001. And we had NGOs participating only. And from there evolved, after a few years, this course for the postgraduate program. So that's in short what it is. In this course, we have the course coordinator is Professor Nishigonda Muya, but unfortunately, I'll be taking most of the classes. She is the course coordinator. And there will also be a guest faculty who will come in for 4 sessions. And he comes for the last few years, he comes from XIMB, Xavier Management Institute in Bhubaneswar. So he's also, very well versed in this particular area. And of course, his primary subject is marketing, but he's also heavily into social responsibility and NGOs and so on and so forth. Does a fair amount of work in this area. Yes, come.
Sorry.
So that's a little bit. So basically, if you will, this is me. In case you want wondering whether I am this or that. And let me introduce Shomnath Pal. He's a friend and colleague of mine. He helps me out because what we tend to do, and you'll understand why a little later, we video all the sessions and we kind of upload it later onto the courseware. It helps you prepare It helps you prepare for whatever, because a lot of the material is not given to you, even in this form. There are, of course, to be very clear, you might have seen, there are these 2 booklets that have been given out. In case you haven't taken them and you pursue the course, please do. So one is a volume of readings and one is a volume of cases. So this is what's given out. But this is not the only material that you have. So the video material will add on. Okay? Okay. Now, before I go on to the presentation, because this is the first day we are meeting and it's such a different kind of course, tell me very quickly, all of you, most of you, if not all of you, what are your expectations and why do you intend, why are you prima facie even interested in this course? Whether you join or not will depend end of this week, and you take a call over the weekend, I guess. So what about you? Your name is? Tejashwi. Yes, Tejashwi. So what makes you interested in this particular course type? Or is it something that you've heard about, or why are you here?
Actually, I'm interested in NGOs, and so I thought maybe I'll be getting a first-hand knowledge about.
You are interested in NGOs. And what kind of interest? Just a casual interest, or you heard the word, or you want to know what NGOs are all about?
I know what NGOs are all about. I want to, in the long term, I want to establish an NGO.
You want to establish an NGO. That's, of course, a very important part. So I'll tell you There will be one or two sessions that will be of probably greater interest to you, but we'll come to that. Okay, thank you. You are? Because you don't have name cards on you? Okay. Next time onwards it ends. Because the course is going to be a dialogue and you will discover. So it's important that you bring the name card, and if I may request you, even if you don't bring the readings, always bring the casebook. Right? This pink book must always be with you when you come to class. Okay? It helps. Yes, please. Yes, please.
Part of few NGOs then.
You are part of the
Like,
NGO.
that was in my undergraduate.
Okay.
So
A few, not even one.
Not like one. So
Okay.
I thought getting deeper knowledge in it helps me to better engage with the other NGOs.
So you are almost wanting to travel in the NGO world. But you don't want to set up one, you want to be part of it.
It depends actually.
All right, okay?
Sanjeev,
Yes,
I
sir.
didn't have much thought process about it. It looked different and I wanted to take something from this working aspect of this.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm Lakshmi Narayan. I thought, what is the business model behind the NGO? So, for maybe some part of it, and maybe able to understand.
Okay, Lakshmi Narayan, just to give you a very quick response, there isn't always a business model. In this course, we try to explore one, but prima facie it doesn't always exist. Because NGOs are NGOs, so we'll come to that. But I think very quickly, that's one answer. Yes?
So my name is Jimmy, and I have been associated with a few NGOs in the past, like the Robin Hood Army, which feeds the people who cannot afford everyday meals. I was also responsible for starting of Blood Connect chapter. Blood Connect is an NGO in Kolkata itself during my undergrad.
What kind of NGO?
Yeah, so that NGO works towards eradicating the blood donation problem in India.
Blood donation.
Yeah.
Okay.
So because of the interest in that, so I would like to.
So would you have specific questions, for instance?
Maybe once the course, we start the course.
All right. Okay. Yes.
Anshul. So I thought.
Sorry, your name is? Anshul. Okay.
So I thought entrepreneurship in NGO would be different. So like generally people are interested in entrepreneurship. So how entrepreneurship in NGO would be different.
How they link up.
Yeah.
How
Would be
entrepreneurship
different to other.
can coexist with an NGO. Okay, yes?
Sir, my name is Tanmesh Srivastava.
Tanmesh.
Tanmesh
Tanmay.
Srivastava.
Okay.
I'm guessing you asked about why
Why
this course. As he said, it just seemed very different from the other courses we picked.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm Avino and I have just one or two experiences at blood donation camps with NGOs. So I don't know much about them, so I would like to get to know more about them. Maybe in future I would like to open my own. So
Okay.
So I'm Venkatesh. I've worked in a couple of NGOs.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, just as a volunteer.
Okay.
And it was mostly unstructured, so I
Yes.
would like to understand how it works.
Yes. Yes, NGOs can often be very unstructured. Yes.
Sir, my name is Longcha.
Okay.
And based on expectations, I don't know. Till now, maybe you will know as the course progresses. So I took this subject because it's some kind of different and in a website, I guess.
Yes. Okay.
Hello, I'm Siddharth. I also worked in the Introductory NGOs and I failed miserably. I couldn't understand what they were doing, how they were doing.
That might still be the case at the end of this course.
I have a better understanding about their working.
All right. Okay. Yes.
My name is Vishal and I chose this course because I thought that if there is a course especially designed for entrepreneurship in the NGOs, it means that they have a model different from the rest of the company. So it would be interesting to like.
You are from?
I studied in France, but I'm from Morocco.
Okay. And which school in France?
Lyon.
Okay. Yes.
Hello, my name is Lucy.
You're also from Lyon?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
from Lyon and I'm from Tunisia. The reason why I chose this course is because I've already been in NGOs in Tunisia.
Oh, you have been in NGOs.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've worked in some different NGOs and it will be interesting interesting for me to see the theoretical part of what NGO is.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
George, I'm from Romania. I study in Denmark, and the reason I chose it.
Which business school in Denmark?
Yes,
Okay.
I chose this course because I didn't have much interaction with NGOs before, so it would be interesting to see the mechanism behind an NGO.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm Vincent. I also study at Copenhagen Business School, and we had a lot of entrepreneurship courses already in our masters. I kind of want to see like a new spin on the theories that maybe know already, it's the context of the NGOs.
Okay. Yes, Matthias.
Yeah, so yes, from Norway, but I was studying in Denmark, but at a different school in August. And yeah, I basically chose the course because we don't really have anything like that at university background.
Okay.
It's a good experience to try to have.
All right. Yes.
My name is Luca. I also study in Denmark, in Copenhagen as well. And I've had a lot of classes about entrepreneurship, but never on entrepreneurship in NGOs or in the public sector. And I was quite curious about it. And the second reason was, I think there's a field trip during the course, and I was really curious about discovering the real India and the real case.
Okay. All right. Okay. Lucy.
I'm Lucy. I'm interested in NGOs in my country, in Czech Republic. I also participated in some of them, and I would like to know how it works here.
All right. Okay.
Cyborg from I think that it's a growing sector, and it's important to help people and tackle a major issue in the future like climate.
Okay. Yes, Pauline.
I am from France. Like, as you said, since today we see that traditional national governments can't tackle those major issues, to me the question is to know if NGOs are a relevant structure to do this, or maybe a business model would be better, like companies would be a better actor to, well, in charge of these problems.
Okay. Yes, Meghna.
So I know the subject sounded very interesting. So we've done a lot of cases and we've learned about these big corporates and everything, even their CSR programs, but we've not really done NGOs and especially entrepreneurship.
Okay. Yes, Arushi.
I think to understand the challenges that you would face as an entrepreneur, especially in NGOs, it would be very different from something like corporate apps. And also, I have been part of an NGO previously during my college.
Okay.
So I was involved in teaching special students. So just to get that experience here and try to understand.
Okay. Yes.
So everything I know about NGOs is through the internet. And
Through the internet. Okay. All right.
So I wanted to know academically what all we learn.
Yes. Yes.
Like we're doing a course on entrepreneurship and NGOs.
Yes.
And down the line, I wanted to be a part of NGOs.
Okay. All right. Yes, Nilay.
I've never been a part of an NGO, and through this course I would like to be part of an NGO, associate with an NGO, and I would like to see how, I would like to learn how NGOs function differently from corporate world.
Yes, Jonas.
I'm Jonas from Germany, and I participated in a students' organization that dealt a lot with entrepreneurship itself, like in general.
Yes.
And there was one part about social entrepreneurship, and it was a lot about NGOs. And I found this.
Yeah. Social entrepreneurship, of course, by definition, can be much more than NGOs.
Yeah, it did a lot of NGOs.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
I'd been associated with a lot of NGOs in my undergrad. Few had a business model like Sulabh International, Avanti Fellows, Atero, which was a waste recycling NGO. A few did not, which included Goonj. These did not have a business model. I started a social entrepreneurship venture of my own, which was Dream Publishers Private Limited, that provided low-cost notebooks. So I actually wanted to understand how to come up with a business model when you're working in an NGO.
Okay. All right.
So my reason is the fieldwork associated within the course. So apart from the theory, we get to explore the practical aspects of what happens NGO down the level. So I want to explore that.
Yes, see.
So I was actually a part of the NGO which was rated as one of the top 10 places to work in India. So now NGOs have started positioning themselves as workplaces, and that means that they're entering the business circuit.
and the fact that I want to work in India for a few years, I'm sure that I will have to come across them either working with them or in them, so I would have a kickstart.
Hi, I'm Priyanka. So, firstly, this course is one of the few courses which offered practical, which had a practical aspect to it, rather than just the books. Then I've been a part of Rotary Club and worked with other organizations. So I wanted to see what goes behind building these organizations.
Okay. Yes.
Hi, my name is Karen. I'm from France, and last year I did my master in social entrepreneurship, and I also took part in some NGO, like volunteering. And now I would like to focus in the practical part and theoretical part.
Okay. Yes, Simon?
I'm Simone from Italy. Yeah. I'm interested in this course because our government is fighting against NGOs.
Fighting against NGOs?
Because they take immigrants and bring it to our country. But so I'm interested what is the structure behind the NGOs.
Okay.
I am Tommaso, I'm from Italy and I study at Bocconi University, and I'm curious to find the differences between doing business in the internship instead of companies.
Okay, I'm Luciano from Italy, same university as them. I chose this class because I'm interested in entrepreneurship and I did my internship in a startup for this reason. I'm also interested in NGOs, but I don't have any practical experience with NGOs. Then I saw entrepreneurship and NGOs and I chose this class.
Okay. All right.
Hi, I'm Camille. I come from Belgium, and at my university I study entrepreneurship. And I would
Which university is it?
UCL, Louvain. And so I would like to one day create something in the non-profit sector or social entrepreneurship, and so learn about more NGOs sector can be a good way to start.
Okay. Hi, my name is Melchior. I'm from France, Neoma University, Neoma School. I've done a master in entrepreneurship, so I'm interested to see what is entrepreneurship in NGOs.
Okay.
So my name is Jacques, so I come from France and I'm studying in Neoma Business School too. So I chose this class because I never had the opportunity to get this one in my business school, and I want to discover how the NGO Indian acts and did in this country.
Okay. Yes, Sophie.
Yeah, I'm Sophie. I'm from Germany, and yeah, I'm especially interested in like NGOs work in India because like I know some of the structures in Germany, but not like how it works here.
Yes, sorry.
So I'm more interested in the life projects that we have. I saw it in the poster. So yeah, I wanted to explore the NGOs from outside, apart from the books.
Okay, yes.
Hi, I'm Clarion. I come from France, and I heard a lot of things about startup accelerators in NGOs, which is getting bigger and bigger in Europe and in the world in general. So it was really interesting to know the organization of those structures and how it gets bigger.
Okay, all right. Okay, now what you probably already realize that it's going to be a challenging course. From one simple point of view, each one has a different expectation. And each one's background with NGOs is different. Either somebody, as somebody said, I've just heard about NGOs from the internet, to somebody who's actually worked in NGOs and more than one, to some people who have set up NGOs, to people who want to set up NGOs, people who've done entrepreneurship but not worked in NGOs. So it's a big basket. So it's going to be challenging. So I'll say this before we start anything, that you need to be very interactive. Okay, I myself work with an NGO for the last 2 decades. The people you will meet in this course will come from the NGO world, but you can get as much as you want to only if you interact, because obviously there is, if the common part of all of what you're saying is just about 30%. Because the population here is very different. So you need to ask. This is one thing. So therefore, please, whenever we will have every day somebody coming. This is one unique thing about this course. You know, there's not going to be a so-called theory class. You know, there is, because as you those who worked in NGOs, you know that there is no one single model that makes NGOs tick. The word NGOs is simple, but if I just put companies, in fact companies operate in a narrower space. NGOs operate almost across the board, and depending on what their mandate is, how they are structured, what they want to do, their model can be widely different. Alright, so that's one thing. So it's important that you see there are two key elements to this course which you will explore right from the next day, Thursday. Today is the last day, the first and the last day that I am alone together with Shonda. From the next day, there will always be somebody from the world of NGOs. Okay? And they will come from very many kinds of backgrounds, and they will have different stories to tell, different things to share. There will not be NGOs, by and large, that are, most of our NGOs are not the large, big, NGOs that you are familiar with. So we are not, talking about Oxfam and CARE and NGOs like that. But we will get people who actually work in the grassroots. So that's something interesting. The other interesting thing about this course, as you found already checked some of you, that there is not just a possibility, the mandate to work in the field with one NGO. Alright? And of course there are cases here which are mostly Harvard or other places, which if you open the casebook you will see different models working and prevailing in different NGOs. Okay? So this is one little thing that I wanted to share with you. Any questions at this stage? And of course at the end there is the guest lectures, the 4 guest lectures, where you will not have an NGO coming in, but the professor will share his experiences working with different NGOs and some learnings from that. So that's how broadly the whole course is going to be structured. Now, any questions right now? I guess not. I have a very quick question. The attendance list has 50 names on it. But if I'm not incorrect, there are more than 50 people in this classroom. I don't know. So have all of you signed up for this course? Or all of you have shown interest, right? Because the course cap is 50. So therefore I was just wondering whether I am, missing something. All right. Because a rough look at the classroom suggests that there are more than 50 people here. But sorry?
The capacity of the class is 50. I guess there are 45.
There are 45. Okay, you've already counted. I thought there was more. Visually it looked like more. This side is 24. Okay. All right. Then fine. If it's 45, then some more will turn up next class or whatever. So that's good. So that problem is taken care of. So let me quickly take you through what we are going to do in this course. Okay, so that you understand and we have some understanding of what's going to happen. So, well, we basically start with, this is one thing that particularly may be interesting for people who are coming from outside India. The fact that social innovations have happened always alongside technical or business innovations. In fact, if you see any major old Indian organization, even any kind of organization that has had any kind, means business organizations of course, but organizations are not necessarily only business organizations. All organizations in India have always had a social side to it. And if you take even innovation, then along with business innovation or technological innovation, there has also been a long and checkered history of social innovation. This is true of India for a long time. The second thing that I'd like to share with you is very true, that India's philosophy, social and cultural heritage has nurtured a very different kind of society. For those of you who come to India for the first time, and Calcutta is a good example. We are not exactly like Mumbai or Delhi or Bangalore. So if you come to this city, you realize it's a bit different, if I may put it mildly. For many, it's a culture shock. But other than that, the society looks very different. And what makes it different is a lot about the social side to it. Not so much the business side. The business side is probably still nascent, and in Calcutta it's notably absent. If you look at the history of NGOs, the first NGO in India is about a few thousand years old. It was in the time of Gautama Buddha, the gentleman who founded Buddhism very popularly. He created what he called the Buddhist Sangha. That was the first collective order of monks. That is probably in India the first NGO that we know. So it's a few thousand years old. I don't know of what existed before that, but that's definitely, so that's long before Jesus Christ, Prophet Muhammad, because Buddha is old. Anyway, then a very recent example, and an example from Calcutta. I've taken that because that's simple to explain, because that's something that exists in the city. The world headquarters of the Ramakrishna Mission happen to be in Calcutta. It's a religious, socio-religious NGO, more social than religious, and you'll have somebody visiting. The other thing is one Nobel laureate from Calcutta. Of course, ethnically she wasn't born Indian, but she made India her home. Mother Teresa. Their headquarters are also in this city. That's also an NGO, Missionaries of Charity, which does a whole lot of social and charitable work here. The other thing is, I've mentioned just Tatas, but very quickly the Tatas have created big companies, Tata Consultancy Services, Titan watches. Many Indians wear Titan watches, and you might have seen. Tata Steel, Tata Salt, Tata Chemicals. I mean, Tatas are in everything. Tata Water, the Himalaya brand or whatever. But alongside that, they've also created large social interventions, starting from educational interventions like the Indian Institute of Science, which is in Bangalore, a premier scientific research and teaching institution, to institutions like, for instance, TIFR, the Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, to simple social initiatives for tribal people in and around Jamshedpur in Bihar. So there have been hardly any business organizations in India, a century old even today, which haven't delved deep into the social sector. Birla's, another organization which has a significant presence in Calcutta, has a number of schools, for instance, and hospitals that are set up with the Birla name. In fact, if you drive down this road, Diamond Harbour Road, you will come to a hospital called B.M. Birla, Heart Center. So that's significant. So any major business house, any major kind of organization has delved deep into the social sector, and the word NGOs probably didn't exist when these things happened. Now we can describe them a little broadly. So this is the backdrop. The other backdrop, which I have not mentioned on this slide, is that this city is a very interesting city. One reason why this course flourishes here is that Calcutta is almost one of the places where you find NGOs in abundance and not companies. You don't find too many companies, but you look for NGOs, they're dime a dozen. So this is not a Mumbai, this is not a Delhi, this is not a Bangalore, not even a Hyderabad or an Ahmedabad. You have tons and tons of NGOs and people doing really good work. The other very interesting thing about our geography is that we are a border state. For those who are coming from outside India, I don't know whether you realize that you're very, just about 50 odd kilometers from the national border. We border several countries, in fact. We border Bangladesh on the east, that's the most very important neighbor. So all along our eastern border of this state is Bangladesh, which is a different country. In the north, there are two nations, Nepal and Bhutan. All right? And there is even a border with Tibet, quote unquote, China. All right?